Welcome to the Lafaya podcast, the podcast for people who refuse to fold in the face of adversity. Whether you're navigating personal challenges or professional obstacles, this show is a reminder that you have the power to play to win. Hi, everyone. I have with me today one of my favorite people in the whole entire world, Jill Brown. I'm so excited that she has most graciously agreed to bless my podcast with her presence. You will love her energy, I'm sure, just as I always do. And just again, I can't imagine that you won't leave this podcast without uh, some wonderful golden nuggets, seriously, because like the wisdom in Jill is just like magnificent. Hi, Jill. How are you today?
Hi, Lafaya. Thank you so much. I always get so excited when we meet up.
Yes, me too. I love the energy. It's just fantastic. But okay, so do me a favor and give everybody a quick introduction to you.
Okay, so I live in South Wales in the UK, and I was a driving instructor for over 22 years, and I just saw an advert one day, become a driving instructor, went, did the training. Suddenly, then I was self-employed, working for myself, and like on to go. Then I had some rough times, lots of loss. My parents died, lots of relatives dying, looking after them. Everything became overwhelming at that time, and I needed to stop. So I retired from being a driving instructor.
Okay.
Then I was helping my husband with his limited company as well. But then I got diagnosed. This was my hand that God served me suddenly. I was diagnosed diabetic and told I needed 2 knee replacements.
Oh my.
And that was such a dark place for me at that time. So, you talk about the hand being dealt.
Yes.
And I don't know a great deal about poker, so I need to ask you this question. Can you fold? Is it the term fold where you put all your cards down and say, that's me out? Is it called fold?
There are fold moments
Right.
in poker where you have your hand at that time, okay, that you have to play is not fit for that situation. So yes, you can fold your hand in that particular situation. And see, when we apply it to life, there are certain situations where we need to, there's certain hands that we're dealt that we're like, we definitely need to fold those hands.
Yeah.
But the
Yeah.
concept of the show is, oh, and like it's the same in poker. You can't fold every hand. So if
No.
you're dealt a bad hand over and over and over and over again, but there are certain hands that you have to play in order to stay in the game,
Yeah.
okay? Then what would you do to put your best foot forward to maximize or to even take that particular hand and make it a success, even if it's just a small success?
Okay. Well, I thought of the term as fold
Mm,
as an initial response
yes.
to actually create space to sit back and observe my feelings,
Mhm.
where I was, and how I wanted to change that hand.
Yes. Oh my goodness. Okay. So
That
that's
makes sense?
that makes a lot of sense. That's actually perfect. Okay. So that's like, in poker, the worst hand you can be dealt is like a deuce, a 2-7, right? And you deuce seven, deuce nine, you look at these bad hands over and over again. Now, in your case, it was kind of bad hand after bad hand after bad hand. At first, you're like, okay, you know what? Right now, I'm going to go ahead and fold this hand, take a break. I'm going to observe things. I'm going to take in what I need to take in order to, if I do continue to be dealt the same bad hands, right? which now we have to try to work on like shifting our minds on the concept, right?
Yeah.
No longer a bad hand, more now this is something I can learn from. Okay,
Yes.
so what can I do in the future, even though it's the same hand that I was dealt before that I had to fold? What
Yeah.
can I do now? How can I shift my situation to make that hand work in my favor?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Because even though I gave that space and stepped back, I still had the same hand, but
Mm-hmm.
I came back in the game with it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that to me is like that space and the acknowledging the feelings, the emotions. It's it allows room for a different perspective. And that changed things for me because I went into a deep fear.
Mm-hmm.
They tell you all the things that can go wrong with diabetes.
Yes.
Don't walk on the beach barefoot. If you get a cut, you can get infected, you can have an amputation, and there's all these things that come up. And then there's the food, and it's a very personal thing, the food with diabetes.
Yes.
What would affect me wouldn't affect another person. So you can't say, don't eat this certain thing, but eat this because the thing they're telling me to eat might have not worked. So there's a huge amount of research to do for yourself. And that's what I did because there wasn't the information then that there is now. This was back in
Yes.
2015, 2016. And managed to change things by finding out what affected me. I also got a personal trainer who understood what I needed to do for my knees to strengthen the muscles around them. So I reversed my diabetes and I went from not being able to walk for a mile without being in pain to walking 10 with no pain.
Wow.
It took time. I can remember going to the gym and this guy would have me doing squats and things and I really struggled with them and I even fell over and cried, out of embarrassment really. But I kept believing in this was the way forward. And I held on to the belief this is the way. This
Yes.
is the way that's going to change everything.
Okay, so let me just recap really quickly because there were so many wonderful things in what you just said. You said, okay, I was dealt the bad hand or the series of bad hands. Okay. So I decided to just fold. So I'm in a kind of a long fold, progressive fold moment,
Yeah,
right? Until I get to this place where I've observed long enough, where I've learned enough. And then I even went into researching, what I need to do to improve because the hand is not changing. So what
no,
do I need to improve my situation? What do I need to do to improve this hand? Right. So you went out and you got a personal trainer. You researched what were good foods for you to eat, not someone else, but for you with your particular situation and your body type and all that. What was good for you to eat? You made those shifts and changes that you learned from, and then you were able to not only create a situation where now you've actually changed the hands you're being dealt through being patient, researching, learning, kind of wading your way through it. So now you changed it and you no longer have diabetes and you no longer, reverse diabetes and you no longer have knee issues. Like you
yeah.
can walk 10 miles. I need to do a little bit of what you've done. I've had zero knee replacements and can guarantee you I cannot walk 10 miles. But honestly, it's a wonderful thing when you think about it because of the bad hands, you have now improved your health to probably better than it was before you got the diagnosis.
Yeah.
And and I mean, in many ways, both, physically, and I'm sure mentally as well, right?
Yes, absolutely.
So, what do you think was the number one thing, the number one thought that moved you into that I'm going to make the best of my situation space?
Right. I know the exact moment where things changed. I It was just coming to lunchtime, and I felt in this deep place of fear, like I said, and I couldn't think what we should eat. What what would we have for lunch? I was afraid to eat, and I was afraid not to eat, because they're both equally what you don't want, what's wrong for you, and you don't want to not have anything.
Right.
And my husband said to me, shall we have some lunch? And I was in this deep place, and I just said, I don't know what to do. I just don't know what to do. And he looked at me for a second, and he said, shall I go and make us an omelette? And I said, that's perfect. That's perfect. And he went off and cooked us an omelette. And I sat there and I thought, this person sitting here in this fear, I don't know.
Mm,
I've never been like this. I don't want to live in this place. And I thought, I take control back today. This stops now.
yes.
Whatever comes my way, I will research, I will find out, I will do the best of my ability to repair me.
Mm,
And that was the changing moment. Such an easy thing. Sat on the settee, just, you know, oh, who am I? To suddenly, well, I'm not this person.
that's right. Oh my goodness, I love that so much. You said, and it's amazing how we can take different states, even that is especially fear, right?
Yeah,
Right? False evidence appearing real. People, some wonderful person made that up a long time ago. I don't know. But false evidence appearing real.
yeah,
And say to ourselves, this is not me.
mm,
I am not paralyzed by anything. Okay?
yeah,
And then now taking that in spite of the fear, or even I'd say even stubbornly against the fear,
yeah,
and figure out what we need to figure out in order to get where we need to go. And we were always meant to get there in the first place, which is
yeah,
this is why situations present themselves to give
yeah,
us an opportunity
yeah,
to become more of who we are, right?
yeah. It's like a kick up the backside, isn't it?
Yes, yes, light that fire underneath us because sometimes we get in our comfort zone. Man, oh man. Okay, so I'm gonna have to have a full episode one day on just like, moving out of safety zones, but that is so fantastic. So fantastic. So guys, just remember, keep in mind, right? That when there's something happening in your life that just seems like it's the most terrible thing, remember it is a prompt. It is
Yeah,
something that is there to push you, okay? Push you into who you are truly meant to be. So
yeah,
keep that in mind so that you can be stubborn. Sometimes we stubbornly fight on behalf of our fears. Sometimes we stubbornly fight on because that's our default, right?
yeah,
We stubbornly fight on behalf of our troubles,
yeah,
right? On behalf of our troubles. But if we learn to stubbornly fight for who we truly are
yes,
through those troubles and struggles,
yeah,
then that's where the real you starts to come out and shine, right?
yeah, absolutely. It does.
Okay, so now my second My signature second question of the day is always tell us about or tell us something about a tilt strategy that you use. I call it taming the tilt. And
Yeah,
tilt, we all, for those of you who have been watching, or those of you who haven't been watching, quick acronym for tilt is temporary interruption in logical thinking. In poker, this causes you to lose all your chips. You have a moment in time where, for whatever reason, all strategy and sound logic goes out of the window. Something happens to create some emotion in you, and you behave in ways that work against your own true goals. Okay. Temporary interruption in logical thinking. But yes, please share with everyone one of your favorite tilt taming tips.
right. That's hard to say.
Say that 5 times fast.
Nope, I do not accept that challenge. one, one of the things I learned that's been really beneficial for me, and I share it with anybody who will listen, is heart coherence, a heart coherence meditation, which I learned from heart math. And it only takes about a minute, and it activates the sympathetic and the parasympathetic nervous systems. So you're still very engaged, but you're also very calm.
Ooh, ooh.
And I know Nike use it for their athletes because they don't want their athletes so calm. They don't care how they run or anything. They want the activation, but the calmness.
Yes. So can you describe that to us? Because I'm sitting on the edge of my seat. I
Okay.
want to know.
Would you like to do it?
Yes.
Okay. So if you place your hand on your heart, and there's a reason why we do that, is that focuses you into your heart. You know, by placing your hand or both hands there, you focus into where your hand is. And then you just shut your eyes and you breathe in for a count of, if it's comfortable, 6, and out for 6. So you count yourself 6 in and you count yourself 6 out. And you can do this longer or shorter, whatever's comfortable. And you visualize that you're breathing in to your heart space. And as you're breathing into your heart space and taking that count, think of something that brings you complete joy. And it can be a song, a person, food, anything, a color. And just keep breathing into the heart space, feeling the joy for that, whatever it is you're thinking about. And it only takes about 4 to 6 breaths. And you feel yourself connect back into your heart. And that's all there is to it.
Oh my goodness. Oh, that does feel wonderful. Okay,
Yeah.
so if you did not participate in that exercise as Jill so fantastically talked us through it, I highly suggest that you just push the pause button for a second. And if you're not driving though,
Yeah.
and pull over first if you're driving, or find a safe place, space or whatever. But try that exercise. It is magnificent. Talk
Yeah.
about putting yourself into, kind of that extreme mindful moment.
Mm.
If you can truly connect with your heart there, that feels that feels wonderful. I needed that yesterday in the tournament. No,
And you could do that before a tournament, you know? You could do it before a meeting if you're going for an interview, for anything, or just, I do it every day just to set my day up.
Oh, that's a great it's proactive, guys. That's a great idea. I was actually just discussing that in my last episode. That proactive approach
Yeah,
to and we were talking about breathing. It wasn't as specific, right? Just kind of taking that moment to just take a few deep breaths or take a deep breath before each hand is dealt, for example. Or, when you're going into work, especially if you have a stressful work environment, taking that moment before you go to work to just kind of have that moment, and before you leave your house, and then maybe in the car before you walk in, and
yeah,
and give yourself those moments
yeah,
throughout the day. If you are not the best with your memory, and it's not something you can do all day long, then commit to doing it on your breaks,
yeah,
during your lunch break. Just take a moment and reset yourself,
yeah.
right? And this is a proactive approach
It
to
is.
releasing a lot of that stress buildup that we take in sometimes that we're not even paying attention to throughout the
Yeah.
day. Oh, that's fantastic, Jill. See, I knew you were going to teach me something. That's why I was excited. You always do. That's why I was excited to see you because
Well,
I
we
will be.
always have such great conversations, don't we?
Yes, you're awesome. Okay, so that is so awesome. So, now just as a total, kind of review, right? Give everybody out there two of the golden nuggets that they can kind of take with them, based on this conversation that we had today.
Okay. You have the control to change anything. You are the powerful creator of your life.
That's the mic drop right there. It's the truth. You know what, guys? She's only giving one golden nugget today because that one covers everything right there.
Okay, another one. Never take no for an answer. The solution is always there.
Ooh.
Focus on solution, not no.
Oh man. Okay, you heard that right. You heard that right. Never take no for an answer. Focus on the solution, not the no. And you guys know I like to say not the problem. You want to focus on. Okay. Well, I thank you so much, Jill, for joining my show today. I really appreciate it. Can you let the people out there know what it is that you do and how they can reach you?
Right. They can reach me on my Facebook group, my free Facebook group. Getting all my words mixed up now, which you have the link to, and you were there.
We'll drop it in comments.
And what I do is I like to have powerful conversations to explore possibilities, not limitation,
Yes,
to,
yes,
to take our dreams and live them.
yes. And you guys, she does it. She does it. Every conversation I have with her, just it changes my life. It always leaves a mark.
Well,
Always
thank
something for
you.
me to take seriously. And I am very serious when I say I am taking, what did you call the approach? I forgot.
It's heart coherence.
Heart coherence. I'm going to take that approach. I may not remember what it's called, but I'm going to take it and use it to the max because I felt every piece of that. That was something that just right here while we were talking took me. Have you guys recognized how peaceful it feels? What peaceful energy Jill brings? It's just everything she does just kind of helps you to just we all move so fast all the time. And it's so nice to be able to just take a nice retreat with someone, 'cause this is like a retreat with someone and really get a chance to just relax. So All right, guys, that's it for our show today. Thank you for joining us. If you have any questions, please leave them in comments. I'll also have links to reach Jill in comments as well. And until next time, stay you, stay true, and
Thank
remember,
you.
yes, and remember, it's not about the hand you're dealt. It's about how you play it. Have a good one. Please like, subscribe, share, and comment. And if you're interested in learning more about playing the hand you're dealt in this mental game of life, you'll love my book, Poker, A Woman's Game. To download your free chapter today, click on the link in our show notes or visit lafayawaypoker.com. See you soon.